Yes. Okay, good evening, everybody. It is with great privilege and pleasure that I sit before you. Welcome everybody sitting here and everyone at home watching. Thank you for being here. I call this meeting to order. It is Tuesday, December 17th, and the time is 4:32. We'll start with agenda item number 1, open meeting, invocation, and pledge of allegiance. We will start with our invocation led by Reverend Kathleen Casper with Living Word Fellowship here in Alice, Texas, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman Mr. Ron Burt. Please rise.
Good and gracious Heavenly Father, we give you thanks and praise for the day. It is indeed a day you've made, and we rejoice in it. Lord, I lift up to you this council in this city, this place where many people have come to dwell. We ask you, O Lord, for your favor to come upon this city, for you to bless it and keep it and protect it. Lord, tonight I ask that you grant this council wisdom to know what you would have it do in the days ahead. Lord, bless them. The work of a city is not easy, but thank you, Lord, for the fact that you excel in getting people through the difficult times. And so we ask you, Lord, to be with them and to bless them and to keep them and to guide them and direct them. In the name of Jesus, amen.
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 Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Agenda item number 2, citizen comments and public announcements. And it looks like we do have some citizen comments. So let me just remind you, any citizen who has a request for city services or other items of concern which cannot be approved or otherwise resolved by the city manager may choose to address the council. You will have 3 minutes to express your position. Any complaints and or discussion about individuals, personnel, council members, city staff, or other persons would be out of order and will not be heard by the city council at this time. Charges or complaints about specific individuals shall be presented in writing to the city manager. All complaints of this nature must be signed and dated by the individual filing the complaint and will be addressed pursuant to Alice personnel policies. If you have written notes you wish to present to the mayor and council, please furnish an extra copy to the city clerk for the official files. Please direct your comments to the mayor and council. Although council cannot take specific action on citizens' comment topics due to legal requirements, they will hear the topic and council may have the item placed on a future agenda for action, or refer the item to a board, commission, or committee, or refer the item to staff for study or conclusion. At this time, we will call up Reverend Kathleen Casper, please. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Kathleen Casper, and my address here is in Alice, but I live in Agua Dulce. I serve the Lord here in Alice at Living Word Fellowship. And the agenda item that I'm addressing today is number 7, where it says to discuss, consider, and act upon authorizing city manager and city staff to issue a request for proposal for alternate water supply options for the city of Alice. And I'm here to encourage all of you to move forward on this and make securing an alternative water supply for the city of Alice a very, very high priority. I have been in Alice, in the Alice area, for nearly 12 years. And securing an alternate water supply for the city of Alice was an agenda item 12 years ago. Now, it should not have been an agenda item for that long, but it is. Now, you may be aware, and you may not be aware, but you might be aware of how droughts have been affecting water supplies in many, many communities. What you may not be aware of is that the drought conditions on Earth are going to increase in severity as the years go on. Now, this fact is not, and I want to repeat that very clearly for everybody, this fact is not a global warming issue. It is a Jesus is coming soon issue. Now, there are many opinions as to what exactly that statement means, but let me tell you exactly what Jesus said. He said that before he returns, the earth, and by extension everybody living on it, will go through some very difficult times. When Jesus' disciples asked him what signs would precede his coming, he told them in Luke chapter 21, verse 11, there will be great earthquakes, famines, and pestilences in various places, and fearful events and great signs from heaven. Jesus called these particular troubles birth pangs. As when a pregnant woman enters into labor, the labor pains begin almost without perception. But as the woman, of course, continues through labor, the pangs become increasingly severe and closer together, the closer, of course, the woman gets to delivery. The earth is in labor. The labor pains are increasing. They are increasing in intensity and in frequency. No one can stop what God has ordained to take place. And no one can go without water for more than 3 days. To have alternative water sources is the very, very, very best decision this council can make for these times which are upon us. I encourage you to please don't delay anymore in this. Make this a high, high, high priority for this council and for this city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll call Miss Debbie Carter up.
Hi, my name is Debbie Carter. My address is 1777 West FM 2044 here in Alice, Texas. I'm here to discuss and consider act upon the multiple use complex, the swimming pool. I don't have a long speech. I'm at work actually right now. I ask that you come up with an agreement with the school with less than $100,000 of what was counteroffered for our kids. We finally have somebody at the pool who can make the city more money with different programs. If he can make the pool work in Freer, Texas, which is smaller than Alice, Texas, I would appreciate if you would give him a chance to prove that. I've spoken with the gentleman. He's got lots of good ideas. I don't know if any of you have, but he's got to be given the chance to implement those programs into the city of Alice for our kids. Our kids have nothing here, nothing. I mean, not everybody can afford to take their kids on vacation, so their biggest vacation is going to the pool in the summertime and the wintertime. I know I personally have taken kids to the pool and taken them home because their parents can't do it. They don't have a way. I will do whatever it takes to help our city keep our pool open. My son is on the swim team. He just joined the swim team 2 years ago as an 8th grader, and he's the fastest swimmer we have in Alice. And now you guys are about to take that all away from him and make him go all the way to TM just to practice. I think it's stupid. For the money that the city and the school will pay to take our kids over there, we can be using a pool right down the street. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carter. Ms. Belinda Silva?
My name is Melinda Silva. I live at 904 Lewis, Texas, and I am a proud citizen of Alice. I'm here to speak on agenda item number 6. It says to discuss, consider, and act upon multi-use operations. As a former auditorium committee member, I feel that I am very qualified to speak about that. I speak to the mayor and the city council right now, and many of you are previous educators and have served on the school board before, so we have a common goal, our students and our citizens. When citizens of a community want to make a difference, it requires a commitment with hearts, souls, and minds. But to help an establishment succeed even more in this day and age, it requires creative thinking and dedicated teamwork. There has always been a plan for this place, and there are more plans to be looked at as well. Please consider the following important items that have already been shared and have been proven profitable, and statistics show that they have been 100% successful. The most vital part to ensuring even more success is that one person cannot manage that public entity. It needs to have an auditorium board or committee that will help build it to the potential it needs to be. We need to implement the Silver Sneakers program for the elderly of Alice. It will be free to them to attend the pool, but help Alice out. We need to open a gift shop at the auditorium for souvenirs, sunscreen lotion, etc. Studies have shown that it shows more profit during the off-season and offset months. We could use some of the hotel funds with that because we have so many swim meets competitions that are bringing in thousands of dollars per event. The auditorium is now a place where it needs to be used not just to promote family fitness and fun, but it needs to promote so much more. We need to promote inclusiveness, literacy programs. We need to have STEM going on. We need to have backpacks with math and science, hands-on experiments. All of these for special nights for special needs children with ADHD, autism. We need to be inclusive and remember the legacy of little Sal Rios at the forefront. That was my main reason for being on the auditorium committee. It continues to be a legacy and a tribute to him, that we have this for all citizens in Alice. I don't know if you all have ever been there, but all of these things can be accomplished by writing grants. Many of you all have seen me before. I don't know if you know this, but I have written and received numerous millions and thousands of dollars of grants for CCISD, the community, campuses, you name it, I wrote it. I offer my special help. I will help write free grants for you. We need to make this happen. As far as holding the students of Alice hostages with $100,000, we need to work together. We're much better than that. We need to have for teamwork, a positive goal, because we have the common goal. It's the citizens of Alice. Let's unite, let's get it together, and let's make that facility that is already there work. We can make the news in positive ways. We can bring attention to that place and make it a state-of-the-art facility for education. We all know that empowerment comes from knowledge. We owe it to our children. Please do that as educators, former school board members. Please do your job, and let's get the kids what they need and keep it open at a reasonable rate to all that it involves. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms.
Hey.
Belinda.
I didn't go over 3 minutes.
Great job. Thank you, Ms. Belinda. I'm sorry, public announcements. Ms. Bowen?
Yes, real quick, I just want to say that the parade was awesome. It was great weather, and Yolanda and the staff did a wonderful job putting everything together, and I want to thank the fire department for letting me ride in the big old fire truck. That was really awesome as well. And let's see, I wrote some notes, I'm sorry. And there was something else I had to say. Of course, I lost it. Oh, okay, and let me see, I think that's about it. Just a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and stay blessed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bowen. Mr. Burke?
No, Mayor, just Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Mr.
The same sentiments, just Merry Christmas. Everybody travel safe. Enjoy your loved ones, and remember to be grateful that you just get to wake up with them. And if they've gone before, just be grateful that you had time with them as well. Again, Merry Christmas to all of you out there, and thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Molina?
Same thing. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, have a safe holiday.
Bah humbug. Merry Christmas, everybody, and I hope you enjoy this time. Again, I'll say it again, it's not about the presents under the tree, but the presence of those that love you. Keep that circle tight and spend time with those that truly love you. Thank you. Going on to agenda item number 3, Texas Municipal League to recognize the City of Alice on program achievement.
Mayor, we have Randy Garza with TML here to present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Esparza. Mayor Vanover and members of the City Council and City staff, my name is Randy Garza, and I'm a Senior Loss Prevention Representative with TML IRP. I'm here today to thank you all for y'all's partnership and for your participation in the Discovery Team program. This was a 2-year process, and we want to thank you for y'all's support, Mr. Esparza's support, Ms. Bettis, who did a lot of work. We really want to thank her for everything that she did. And of course, all the city employees that took a part in their portions of some of the things that were required for them to do. We know a lot of work has gone into completing this program, and we hope that these steps that have been implemented will help minimize potential exposures that could impact the city of Alice financially. With that being said, we would like to award the city with a plaque. And if I may read the plaque to y'all, I would like to. It says, "The Texas Municipal League Intergovernmental Risk Pool recognizes the city of Alice for its efforts in implementing the recommendations of the Loss Prevention Discovery Team process. This effort required the cooperation of all departments throughout the city. The implementation of these recommendations will enhance the city's proactive approach to providing a safe environment for its employees." So with that, I'd like to thank y'all for doing this. And Mayor, this is for y'all.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, staff.
Appreciate it, yeah.
Thank
you.
you all. This is yours.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Jolene, did you all want to picture?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Yes, sir.
Go down. I want to come up.
Make sure the staff hang on
I
this
know.
one. I think any staff that's here.
Everybody, Victor, everybody, this is the team effort.
All of y'all.
Everybody.
Come on.
You tell me where to stand.
Hurry up. Come on up.
Okay, right?
Miss Barbara, Victor, you were a big part too. All
Trying to
of
run
y'all.
off.
Everybody. No, he's. Oh, there he is. I'm not showing you. I want to be in the background. Let me get behind you.
Good.
2 years ago, and they worked really, really hard. Odie. I can't see you.
Can you get your, yeah. No?
She was, that's what I said. She can be part of it. Okay. Ready?
Now y'all look this way because Yolanda can't see you. There you go. Thank you.
Renee, you're recording this too? Congratulations, team. This is all y'all and everybody who's not here.
For everything. I appreciate you standing in the back because I want to suck it in.
Well, I said
I just have to
exhale.
tiptoe. I just have to tiptoe. So the good thing about standing in the back, then I can suck it in. I just have to tuck it in. It's like, that'll just Oh.
Thank you. We started and all that craziness. All right. Thank you again to city staff and TML for the partnership that you allow us for success for the city of Alice. Agenda item number 4, information from city managers, schedule for garbage collection for the holidays, 2020 regular city council meeting schedule, and 3, Texas Water Development Board Phase 2 determination letter.
Thank you, Mayor. Wanted to let the public know first that our garbage collection is going to stay how it is regularly during the Christmas holidays. Monday and Tuesday will be pickup, and Thursday and Friday. So whatever your days are, there'll be regular pickup during those days. They won't be picking up brush. Usually Wednesdays are brush pickup, but they won't be brush pickup. But garbage, yes, regular schedule. On the 2020, what you have in front of you is a calendar showing the regular scheduled meetings, keeping the same schedule that we've had this year. It just shows the third Tuesday of the month, and wanted to give that to you, and she'll have the dates ready. If you guys want to make changes to that, or if something comes up and during the 2020 year, you certainly can modify that schedule. Also, number 3, Texas Water Development Board Phase 2 determination letter. A week and a half ago, we received notification from the Water Development Board of the determination letter, funding determination letter. So this is Phase 2 of the water project that we're working on. So this mainly includes the plant, construction and everything, and design of the plant, And so this is a $12.5 million Texas Water Development Board loan, Phase 2 of our water project. The funding determination letter tells us how much is eligible for loan forgiveness and how much is going to be at 0%, and the rest, of course, is typically below market rates. What they're telling us is that we're eligible for $3.7 million of loan forgiveness. It's a huge number, 30% of the $12.5 million. And so it falls in line with the first Water Development Board loan that we have, similar percent. And they're also giving us a 0% on $1 million of that loan. So it's very good numbers. We expected this letter to actually come in more in the February, March, but it came in earlier. So I wanted to let you guys know about that, and that's going to also touch into one of the next agenda items.
Michael, could you, I'm sorry, reference number 2 for a time on meetings? A solid time. We've been doing 4:30.
4:30?
That stands.
We've been doing that for a while, just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure we're continuing that. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Esparza?
No, ma'am.
Okay, agenda item number 5, discuss, consider, and act upon approving minutes from the November 19th, 2019, and the November 26th, 2019 city council meetings. I'll entertain a motion at this time if council is ready to approve.
Chair, I'll make a motion for the approval of the minutes from the November 19th, 2019, and the November 26th, 2019 city council meetings.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion stands as stated. Thank you. Agenda item number 6, discuss, consider, and act upon multi-use operations. Mr. Molina?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, I placed this item on the agenda last month and to address the issues that we have going on with the expenses that have just been tough to deal with given our position. And at the time, we came up with an agreement that was going to be presented to the school board. They elected to not place it on their agenda. And at this time, it's obvious that they're either thinking about it or they're maybe considering other things. I mean, they have their own business to run. It's obviously not a priority to them, and I don't hold anything against them. That's their business, just like we have a business to run. When I took over this spot, this seat, I really wasn't really comfortable with the elephant in the room. And I've sat here uncomfortably watching the numbers come in, and it's tough to watch and it's tough to bear. We do have a lot of issues with infrastructure. We do have a lot of issues with just bigger things that are more needs versus luxury. I know it's not always easy doing the right thing, but our debt service has just come into play. Upwards of $250,000 a year. In 2028, that's going to almost quadruple, upwards of $1 million that we're going to have to deal with. Tack that on top of the $200 and some thousand losses that we're dealing with on a year-to-year basis. Somebody needs to stop the bleeding. Not only are we losing money, but we also almost pretty much penalize our non-civil service employees back by 10%. We've been able to give them about 7.5% back, and I'm hoping to get the full amount back eventually. Right now, the water park actually does really well. We're in the black. I'm happy about that. As far as the swimming pool, the numbers pretty much speak for themselves. There's a small percentage, probably less than 5%, that are probably benefiting from that pool at this time. And in the meantime, the bleeding persists. At this time, I'm inclined to suggest ceasing all aquatic operations of the pool. And as far as the water park is concerned, it's still going to be a liability, but if we can consider a seasonal opening for that, which it's seasonal anyway, maybe a month in March and then run it June through August, I think that would be okay, just because it's, like I said, it's in the black, we're making money, it's profitable. It's the actual indoor pool that is crippling our finances right now. And you know, I just wanted to bring this up to light. I know the school district gets a lion's share of our taxes. I know they have money to play with. We don't. You know, nobody's really helping us. And right now, nobody's helping us right now. I think the offer to the school district was very generous, and in that it is their swimming pool. You know, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. Just wanted your opinions on it and your thoughts.
Okay, Ms. Bowen?
Of course, this is a very touchy subject to our community, and of course, we need to stand together and unify, but also speak our mind and what we feel is right and what we feel, you know, we should do. I do agree there's other needs. This entire community benefits from, you know, our infrastructure and clean water and stuff like that. The quality of life is very important, of course. And as a city, we need those funds. We need those extra funds to, like he says, we do not have help, you know, as much help as others do. So we need to think about, you know, funding, you know, saving every penny counts. So, I mean, as much as we love our children and we want to work together with the school, you know, we have to think about outside the box, what else we can do to save that penny. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Burke?
Yes, and as Robert was describing the losses, and Pete has mentioned, in addition to that, of course, if you consider the depreciation, as well as the staff time that's been devoted in administration, in finance, other departments, those costs have not even been equated or factored into that, which would even increase that number. So it is very problematic.
On Sydney's, on the approval of
Mr. Crisp?
You know, I'm in agreement with Mr. Molina. Of course, when I came in, you know, we realized there was an issue with it. There was ways that they managed to actually getting it to running better, but a facility of this nature is never going to make money. We know that. Okay, it's never going to be there. But when you equate the losses to its use, there's not a balance there. You know, we have a large number of people that utilize the water park in the summertime, but the pool is not as utilized. Okay, there's a very small number of people that actually utilize this thing. In addition, we have them presenting us with the idea of education. This can be used for this, that, and the other. Well, I'm gonna be straightforward. I pay 50% of my taxes go to the school system, and they facilitate education. The 19% that I pay to the city needs to go to city services, not school services. I sadly, it is not the responsibility of the tax-paying citizens in the city of Alice that pay 19% to the city to facilitate something that the school district offers. It's just not. I couldn't start a football team and expect them to let me use the football field. There's a division there. Yes, we want to work together. Yes, we put some numbers out there. We presented something that we thought was fair. They were going to have complete control of it for 9 months. Okay? It didn't come forward. We're at a point now where what can we do to move forward? Like Mr. Molina said, the water park can be utilized. We can still give that to our kids. That is the most utilized place out there. It clears, I want to say that the numbers come out to about $18,000 a year. We might take a little bit of a hit there, but we're still offering something to the kids, to the community. I say the kids, but the community. You know, there's always been this draw in the past, and it's such a touchy subject because people worry about voters, people worry about this, people worry about other boards and things and so forth. And I've said it before, and I've said it to people before, is as much as I appreciate the voters, don't get me wrong, I appreciate those that vote for me every single time. I don't work just for them. We sit up here to work for the community as a whole, 19,000 people, not the 2,000 that show up to vote. So when we look at these things, we have to look at the dollars, we have to look at the cents, we have to look at what makes common sense and figure out what direction do we need to move on every aspect. We've started things with water, secondary water sources. We've started things with performance services in order to increase performances. We're figuring out ways to better spend the dollars, and this is just another one of those situations that we have to look at. We gave it a chance. Yes, I was the guy who sat here in 2016 or whatever it was, presented the numbers that were presented at the time, that were present at the time, and decided that we need to suspend aquatic operations for a little while. Came open again, we gave it a chance. Year, 2 years, it's still doing the same kind of things. Yes, they've ran it better, but that doesn't mean it's been run. You know, that doesn't mean that it will ever run to what will be acceptable as far as a loss that equates to what it's being utilized. So, you know, I agree with Mr. Molina 100%. I think that it's time to sit back and say, where can we dedicate those dollars with the same amount of money that we end up turning over every year? We can do another 12 streets, 12 miles of road like we did 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. You know, just if you think about things like that, there's things that can better assist the whole community as a whole moving forward throughout. So when it comes down to it, we have to look at every penny, and that's just what we're doing. We looked at every penny when the budget came up, and we're doing it again. So that's where I stand.
Okay. I see both sides very clearly and have a clear overview of where numbers are, and sometimes they look fuzzy, but they're a little bit more to light now. As I said from the beginning, I'll say it again tonight, I truly believe in a seasonal operation of the establishment. I can truly see that the citizens, whether by default due to taxes or because they supported the cause of this multi-million-dollar establishment, we have still invested in this wonderful state-of-the-art building that stands there. However, at this time, I do feel that this school, I prayed and hoped that the school would have come forward to create that partnership with us and had at least come back with a counter. Whether council wanted to hear a counter or not, I was really hoping that they would have fought for their kids and fought for their education for all kids and not just certain kids that would use that facility and come forward with a counter offer. And I'm sure because council does want to, and we have proven to work together with the AISD, whether it's our responsibility on education or not. We have come forward with security. We have come forward and paid for security and other measures to help the school and to work together. So this is not an isolated case of us not working with, because we have been working with. And when I got elected, that was one of my main focuses, is to work together with the school and to unite us as a city of one. And the city, previous city councils and this city council have proven to do that. And this was, as much as it was frustrating, it's one of those that we have to look at this as a business. To date, and we're starting with a new set of numbers, which are a little bit more real. It was very hard to have true numbers in the past. When we say real numbers, yada, yada, it's because the multi-use center is a fairly new establishment and didn't have a yearly roundabout of solid numbers to go by. But to date, which I can truly say is real, revenue for the last 2 months for that establishment have been $1,382. However, we have spent $58,500. And that's in a matter of 2 months, for the 2 months ending November 30th, 2019. Those are very powerful numbers, and we can want and want and want to do what we feel from our hearts is right, but we are here to support all citizens and not a select few. And as much as I dislike this topic coming up, this has been an elephant in the room, the monkey on our backs, the monkey on the citizens' backs, since the very beginning of my term anyway, and before that. And we really need to come up with something. And I ask council to, at this time, consider the future. I realize what needs to be done. The numbers do not lie. Numbers do not lie. And those are very powerful numbers. The summertime will be a whole different set of numbers. However, when I speak about this establishment, I speak for a seasonal operation of the establishment. And I would love for Alice Independent School District and their board members to come forward and take a partnership in this for their education, to further education in this area, because we do have this establishment here, and they wouldn't have to travel their kids to Toloso. They have paid Toloso Midway's money, and we can't come to an agreement. And I would wish that they would look at the drive time, the kids on the road, the studies that are missed because they have their kids on the road. So I was really hoping for a counteroffer. And I'll say it again, whether council wanted to hear it or not. I know that they're good people, and they would have listened to a counteroffer. But these numbers are real, and they're public numbers, and everyone is welcome to it. However, at this time, I do ask council to not look at just today and this season. I want to hear for the future, and not suspend aquatic operations and final finale. That's not what I want to hear today. I would like to hear the solution for the future, which I would think that seasonal closure is the smartest thing to do, as other cities have proven that works for pools.
They're shutting them down. A lot of other
A
cities.
lot of cities are shutting them down.
They're shutting them down.
They are.
The vast majority of cities are shutting down swimming pools.
They are. But we can't ignore or go forward without a plan. I would like for council to present a plan, if not to do a seasonal closure. And when I say seasonal, I truly mean it closes from June 1st till the following September. No, so it would be open from June 1st up until September 1st, which is a 3-month period. And then I would like to see, like the water park open, at least for our kids that cannot travel, that cannot go to other places, to have the water park open at least for that spring break week for those kids that cannot go anywhere else. I see that as, and if something, if we don't have a plan for the future, then at least have that plan for the future, so that we're not sitting up here again with the burden of, is it open, is it closed, and the instability of a city to have hours of operation. So I'm asking council, if there is no plan for the natatorium, immediate plan, if we can at least proceed with hours of operation, seasonal hours of operation from here forward. And I do understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, if we have one more meet left. It's in March. Okay, so none in January. And we've committed to that too.
I can check.
Okay,
But it gives them plenty of time if it has to be redone. There's plenty of time to move that. We're not sitting it like it's
Right.
next week.
right,
You know,
exactly.
And I'll give you an idea
no,
of
absolutely.
a plan for the multi-use, not for the multi-use, for the swimming pool, is the Alice Convention Center. Fill it in with dirt, cover it with cement, and that place will be used. It'll be the nicest meeting place that the city has, and we'll have better chance of a hotel or a restaurant wanting to move in next to it in the land that's owned around it if they're having weddings and people are enjoying themselves there on the weekend. You know?
At this time-
And the idea of what is the plan, if the plan is to close it, that's the plan. That doesn't mean that we can't evaluate options that come forward from the school and so forth. It's not
Right.
like we're boarding it up and doing away with it. The idea would be, and I'm sorry, I'm jumping the gun here, or you know, or just reading your mind, and it, when you said this, is the closure is that it's closed. And that doesn't mean when you close down a store that somebody else can't come in and take over it.
That's right.
So we can continue to work towards a goal, but we just can't operate it anymore.
And the goal would be, Mr. Crisp?
is let somebody else operate it. If it's going to be utilized as a swimming pool, it needs to be utilized like other cities are. And I'm going out and I'm talking other cities. You have public city pool closures because of homeowner associations and the subdivisions building their own pools. Nonprofit organizations building and supporting their own pools. Community pools that do not belong, they're privately owned pools. So, the idea of it operating as a pool, it would be a great thing, just not by us. Sadly, we had some great swimming pools. They were built, closed. We built an awesome facility, we have a diamond here. It's just in the wrong place. I would never let my kid ride a bike or walk to that facility. When it was Anderson Park 30 years ago, and my grandpa lived on 3rd Street, and they dropped me off, I walked over there every day of the week with my 25 cents to get in the door.
Right.
You bought your soda for another 50 cents, and for a quarter you'd get a bag of chips. For $1 a day, I could do it.
Yep, those were the days.
Nowadays, we have a $13 million facility that if we charge somebody $8 to get in the door, who can really afford it? They can't, right? A lot of people can't afford that. But what are we supposed to do because we can't afford not to charge that $8? We can't afford to charge that $8. We can't afford to charge $16. But nobody can pay that. Nobody would pay that. There's a lot going on there. So the idea for me is if somebody wants it, take it. We've offered to people before to say, hey, you think the facility is so good and can be profitable and do what it can do? We'll lease it to you for $1 a year. We've told people that. People don't take it. We've called Michael Phelps Foundation, Swim America, and some of these other places. They don't want it either. It's just because it is a beautiful, overbuilt facility for what we have.
Okay, so it is ours. It is property of the city of Alice, and we will continue to have debt service.
Thank you so much.
For
You pay
how
your
many
debt.
years?
You pay your debt. If it was a business, I close my doors and pay my debt.
Hang on, Mr. Crisp, I'm not arguing
Till
with you. I'm
till
gonna-
2036.
12,
2036.
20, 36.
2036.
Okay, so your
Thank you so much.
plan of a convention center could possibly help us pay this. So since we own it, and we know we own it, just because you own a raggedy dog doesn't mean you disown it. I mean, that's ours. We love it, and it's ours. We have to own it. Okay, so say the goal isn't met. I just want to hear, I know where we're at, and I know what business smarts are, and so it's not a secret. But all I'm asking is for a future goal, or a future set of what are we going to do at this time, not just close it and nothing else forward. I would like to stop talking about this honestly and move on to other things that need our attention, that need our focus, and have a plan for this establishment because it is ours. So, okay, goal is we keep, I mean, according to Mr. Molina, we would keep the water park and have seasonal hours of operation, I would hope. And then the natatorium would be an empty hole. So the empty hole, you say put dirt in it and fill it up and make a convention center, which I think would be very profitable in the city of Alice. So goal is somebody comes in, operates a pool, right? First goal. So second goal is we have to take the bull by the horns and say, we need to do something with this because it is ours, and we can't just let there be a hole in the ground that is multi-million dollar worth, and we do something. I would like to see research also. Would we be able to do that, Mr. Esparza, is get, because obviously we'd have to reconstruct the establishment and see what money it would, because it's obviously meant to be an outdoor, it's very hot, and it's meant to be a pool, an auditorium, not a indoor facility. So,
HVAC systems, dirt, concrete, and things like that.
right.
Sure.
It's along the same lines, though, as what we looked at if we decided to try to cover it to make it a convention center. You know what I mean?
Probably cheaper than that.
It would be way cheaper because the size of our pool to cover it and make a surface that people can stand on would be astronomical.
Right.
We could sell off half of the equipment that sits in there,
Right.
even as used equipment,
Would we
would
be
probably
able to
cover
sell
HVAC
that?
systems.
Is that sellable? I mean, they don't even want to buy a pool, much less used pumps. Or is that,
Oh,
do you know?
The equipment.
the equipment there, there's some value.
There's some value?
Yeah, but I mean,
Not substantial value.
yeah.
Well, the main idea is to stop the bleeding, and in the meantime, we can accrue the money that we're saving to kind of help towards something and work it out. I mean,
Well,
this is not the know-all, end-all, but
Right,
at least
right.
we're doing it right now to say, this is as far as it can, it can't sustain itself anymore, by.
Right.
With the $100,000, with half of the loss from the year, we can turn around and sink that into the Southside pool again, and basically have a new pool that would sustain the number of people who are actually in the pool.
What's the timeline, Mr. Chris?
On that, well, I'm not building timelines. I'm
Well, I mean,
talking.
just.
We're talking about
You
the.
just said,
Yeah, I'm just
like,
saying.
a matter of-
well, huh? I
like in a
mean,
matter of,
I'm not. I don't build pools for a living, so I don't know.
but the money, you
No, I'm
just
saying
said
the
it.
$200,000 loss that we have in a year,
Mm-hmm.
half of that can be turned around and spent on the Southside pool.
Right.
In a year, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Or revitalize it.
And revitalize
Right.
that pool completely. And then we could still be out half of that money.
I like that idea.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of things that we can actually do that can save us money and still offer up something without losing that much money every year. So, I know that the Southside pool has its issues too, but again, for the amount of money that we could save, we could basically have a brand new pool of that size, not of that size.
Mm-hmm. Is that the same size?
No, not
Or
even
is it-
close.
Is it even,
Olympic size.
It's about half the size.
Yeah, it's not competition size by any means.
it's not what?
Not competition size.
Competition
The
size.
pool is competition size. And Yolanda, that pool, when it stopped being operational, that was functional, correct? Southside pool.
It had some leakage. I remember that was an issue as far as leakage. So, I mean, it's a functional pool, so we can do something.
It's doable, yeah.
And then we're offering it back to the citizens that enjoy the pool for a swimming pool.
I would doubt that it works now, though. That's been how
I know,
many
that's
years?
why, yeah, we'd have to sink some money
I
into
mean,
it.
that's just
Year and a half, 2
logical
years, 3
speaking,
years,
it probably won't be.
since the last time there was
much.
water in there. Right before Rudy left,
How many?
so 2016?
It's about 15 or 15 maybe.
Probably 6 years.
Has it been that long?
Six.
I thought there was a water issue in,
6 years?
there was water in it in 16.
We operated that pool until the matter.
That was 16.
Okay. 2016?
Worst case, it buys us some time while Michael goes to work, as he's usually done, and work with maybe the YMCA or, like I said, open up those avenues and see if we can get somebody, come out of the woodwork and maybe, see that we're in a dire situation, and.
Right. Just
And
like you said, stop the bleeding now. Let's use that money that we're wasting on that for something else.
Right. Our secondary water source.
Secondary
like,
water source, other things.
Was Karen Casper was speaking about earlier. I mean,
Yeah, definitely the importance.
should have been done a long time ago, but, Michael's kind of headlining all that. Good job.
And I thank you, Mayor, for your research and your knowledge on this. I'm new to this, and it does help, to know those numbers and to think 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead, what to do with that pool, whether we fill it in or not, and, but at least we have time, if we close it now, we have that time to, to give him to sell it and do what he needs to do, or whatever else comes.
Sell what?
The building itself, the whole
I
thing.
mean,
We have
if
to.
that's an option,
If it's
if
an
somebody
option,
comes
I'm
in
just
and wants to
saying.
take it off our
I'm
hands.
just saying, if it's an option, you never know.
It's kind of like when you have a vehicle and you can't afford it anymore, you want
Right.
somebody to take over
I
payments.
think we've
Take over
tried to sell it
payments.
since we built it.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
been, that's good.
You
for
never
sale.
know.
And
Mike-
that's, and
Michael's
that, and
a good
that's a proof
salesman.
to the point right there. That's proof.
Maybe
to
there's
the-
Santa will come
Michael's a
by.
great
Other-
salesman. so.
There's so many different things we can do,
Right.
We just need the time.
Okay, so, that's my plea to council, just to, at least, and if none of these genius ideas are in play, would y'all even consider opening it for that season again, the off-season at least? At least the off-season, open the pool for the people that.
You mean the on-season? Off-season is what we're in right now.
I'm sorry, yes, thank you. On-season,
It confused me.
oh, come on.
I know what you meant, but I
I
just
think
want.
we're beating a dead bird. We know exactly what off-season and.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would ask for council to at least consider if there is no set plan, because it's about moving forward. And if we're not progressively following through and moving forward, then to have a building that is not utilized, because heating wouldn't be such an issue in the on-season months. So I would ask council to at least consider that if we're not actively bought by somebody or somebody else is helping us operate, that we would at least open it for that season. Again, reaching out to the school district to work, because like we've said, we're not, I mean, just because we suspend for now, that doesn't mean that it's boarded or fenced or chained. I mean, it's still something
It's
that's.
just putting it on pause so we can stop the bleeding and stop wasting all this money that's
Exactly.
not helping us, and we're losing it and just throwing it away. And
So would council consider if nothing, I'm going back to my, any discussion on that?
I'm going
Would
to
you
be
all?
perfectly honest. I think the pool needs to be closed. I think it needs to be closed. I think that by offering the water park as an escape for the community to go and enjoy, which is the most utilized of everything, we're still going to have to spend a large chunk of money in order to keep it ready for those years. I mean, for those months. There's money to be spent in order maintaining it. Yes, we save some money on payroll and so forth and so on. You do reduce chemical sales, but there's still a cost there, where if it's closed and we're not preparing for 3 months, there's not.
Right.
There's not, you know. I don't think we're at a point where, okay, we've talked about this and so forth and so on. You know, quality of life is what this pool is. Quality of life is the water park. But quality of life also is our fire department and our police department and clean water and knowing that every time I flush the toilet, whatever's there goes away. There's more to it than these small things. And we need to move beyond the idea of we have it, so what are we going to do with it, to we have it, can we stop wasting money on it?
Well, at that time, in May, if we would, I mean, if the numbers would stay pretty together, we would be at a savings of $292,500 for 5 months. I think by then we could come up with some kind of cost analysis or something to.
That savings doesn't actually equate, because once you go through, there's still yeah, just because there's an expense already there, there's still continued expenses in keeping it ready. So you're still going to spend probably 15 to 20, you know,
No,
probably
I'm saying
10,
if we suspend now and stop everything, this is the total savings.
like
to this.
completely stop, not keeping it ready to open up in May. Or,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because it's drained anyway.
No, it's not.
No.
Well, I've been told, yes, that it's
No.
been drained to clean, and that there's some time that it's been drained to
water
clean.
park or what?
No.
The pool?
The pool?
No, they're utilizing it still.
No, not right now, but in the past, we have, when it was suspended before.
No, it's never been drained.
It was never drained.
It's never been drained.
That I know of. No.
So we don't even know what that would do. But it would be around that much, wouldn't you think? Because we're spending that much now. Oh no, that's 2 months, so it's a little less. I would just like council to consider moving forward with a plan for the future and not just a dead end, stop it at this time, and then that way we don't deal with this again coming up in.
I mean, if you're asking, I'll make a
June.
motion to fill it in and turn it into convention center, if that's what you're asking for right
I'm
now.
asking for a plan, and I can't,
But
I can't.
what we're trying to do is trying to leave it to where staff can work to utilize it for what it is,
What do you mean?
where they can sell it, where they can lease it, where they can get somebody else to come in and try to take over it as a pool.
So then we leave it like that till we have somebody
No,
sprinkle
but-
magic dust on us and we sell it?
Well, then let's fill it in. I mean, if you're
Because
gonna
that's
keep pushing it
that's
right
what
now,
Mr. Molina was saying, we
we're
should
trying to
not
give it options.
have it full.
No, and that's fine. It doesn't
Because
need to be
that's where
full to
the-
sell. It doesn't need to be full to sell.
Right.
Right.
That's the thing, is he can continue to do it, and we say, okay, we come back in a year, oh, Mike, you haven't done it? Let's do a convention center.
That's what I was thinking.
What were you
mean-
thinking, Ms. Bowen?
That we just,
We give it a
wait,
chance
give it a
to
chance
stay a
to
pool,
see what he
but
can
somebody
do.
else take responsibility.
and who comes, forward.
For
If
how
this-
long?
Maybe the school will
For how long are we
decide.
gonna
Like
wait?
he said, maybe
I mean, we're a
year.
professional group of people, so I would like
Those
for
are
y'all
answers
to
that we
have-
don't know
Well,
right
then,
now.
then
Well,
tell
yeah,
us
we
what we
definitely
should
don't
do.
know.
No, I want y'all, I mean, I
mean-
already gave y'all a plan of what to do.
And the seasonal
but it's
opening
not-
isn't an answer
Why not?
for that facility, because it's just planning for another failure.
Another failure.
It's just planning for continued failure.
No, to wait till y'all have a definite of what you're gonna do. I really don't understand where y'all are coming from. If we don't have a definite plan, I just don't proceed in life like that. I plan for my future. And so if there's no definite plan, then we wait.
definitely
It's
close
like-
it.
It's, okay, then that's your plan.
Okay, let's close it.
I mean, but like, what we're trying to do is give them a chance to do something and then move forward. But you're not accepting that as a plan because that's not what you want to hear right now.
Why are you arguing with me?
Because you're arguing with us.
Because I want a plan?
Well, we're giving you a plan. The plan is to close it, try to do what we can, and then figure out exactly what we're going to do. In my opinion, I've already told you. And I think that if in a year, I'll sit up here and make the same motion.
So I'm asking for clarification. We're gonna keep the water going,
No.
all the operations going?
No,
Okay,
because
that's
it can,
what I'm asking,
because
both of y'all.
it can be filled back in. If somebody decides to come and lease it, guess what? You turn on a valve, and it fills
So
back
then we
in the
drain
same
it.
way. The same way it was done the first time.
So then we drain it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not what you said earlier. You said we're gonna keep it looking pretty for the sale. Both of
No,
y'all
I
did.
didn't. I didn't say
Both
anything
of
about
y'all
keeping. I
did.
just said no. I never said anything about keeping it looking pretty.
Well, you said we're gonna keep it the way it is till somebody comes forward. Well, that doesn't mean with
Oh,
water.
I think he meant
Like
just,
not
we won't
bulldozing
fill
it
it
and
up or
filling it up.
bulldoze it or anything like that
Well, this is a
right now.
very important decision, guys, that y'all are
Exactly,
making.
it
So I'd
is.
like y'all to be a little more complete on what you're gonna do, because we have gone through this over and over and over. And I don't know about, I mean, you, Ms. Bowen, have not been going, but we have.
Yes,
You
I
have,
know,
Ron,
I
too.
know.
Sitting up here in these chairs. So if we make the decision, make it so that our citizens can know, and not this instability of what are they doing or what's gonna happen. So that they can make plans for the future if that's what they're gonna have to do. We owe it to our citizens, all of our citizens, that we have the stability up here to have a plan for the future. That's all I'm asking from y'all. I'm not asking any specific timelines or monies, just a plan, which we know that up here, those plans can be changed by you guys.
What they're gonna know is that we're gonna stop the bleeding, and we're gonna start saving money.
And what I'll tell the
figure it out.
and what I'll tell the
And we'll
citizens
figure it
is
out.
right now, unless somebody else comes in and decides to take over it, don't ever plan on having a pool right there again. In my opinion.
What?
Unless somebody else decides to come in and take over it, don't ever plan on having a pool there again.
Oh,
That is my personal opinion. I am saying it. I am putting it right there. That is where I stand. It is a loss. And unless somebody comes in and decides to run this operation and manage a pool properly the way that they feel can make it work for them, it is not the city's responsibility anymore. That is how I feel about it.
I would just like to see the pool closed, drained, and give Michael a chance to figure out whether we can sell it or even, like you said, down the road, fill it and use it for something else to make some other kind of revenue out of it. But, and like you said, stop the bleeding. Let's use that money for something else right now.
Okay.
And I appreciate you very much, Mayor, and your opinion and your ideas.
I just want a plan from you guys.
Yes,
I
and I
really,
really
it's
do.
obvious where everybody stands. I'm not arguing with anybody.
Right.
I'm asking for council to have a plan for the future for the citizens of Alice.
Okay.
That's all I want. It's nothing against anybody. I'm not gonna argue with anybody. I just want a plan, is all I'm asking for our citizens. That's it. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, a motion to open the water park on a seasonal basis, May through spring break in the 3 summer months, June through August, to the beginning of September 1st. As far as indoor operations are concerned, cease all aquatic operations effective immediately until further notice. Drain the pool itself and suspending all management and maintenance operations pertaining to the maintaining the pool until further notice.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Okay, motion stands as stated. Thank you, council.
Thank you, Mayor.
Agenda item number 7, discuss, consider, and act upon authorizing city manager and city staff to issue a request for proposal for alternate water supply options for the city of Alice.
Thank you, Mayor. So last meeting, you guys authorized a request for qualifications, and between that meeting and this one, and as we were reviewing the request for qualifications and trying to get it out, we came to a realization that we have a lot of information as far as what we're looking for on the water quality. We have an estimate of what's going to be in the ground. So I think we also know that anybody that's going to bid on providing this water, treating this water, running it through an RO plant, during the RF request for proposals, we're going to be able to look at the qualifications. Anyway, we decided, along with the letter that we received from Texas Water Development Board, coming here a lot sooner, we wanted to move this to a request for proposals to get an idea of the cost per 1,000 gallons. You know, we have an idea of what it's going to cost us if we follow the traditional method with the Water Development Board, get the $12.5 million loan with the $3.7 loan forgiveness. We have an idea of what that's going to cost us. We want to see, and I think it would be, our community also would want to see, what can somebody else do it for? And that way we can compare it. I have an idea with the $3.7 million loan forgiveness that it's going to be hard for somebody to come in and try to produce that water, treat that water at a cost that's going to be that we can do it for. I'm not sure they'll be able to do it, but we'll find out once we get a request for proposals. And so this is just that second part for that. You know, we want to make sure that the people that are bidding are, you know, financially strong, that can produce that. Have they done any of these types of projects? Have they ever delivered water to a municipality as well? We know of, you know, 4 or 5 already companies that do this and do this kind of partnership. And so to let actually the public know also, so, you know, we have a $5.5 million loan that's going to do some test wells, determining whether you know, the quality of the water in the Jasper Aquifer. We're estimating that the total dissolved solids are going to be around the 2,000 range. What comes out of our plant is about 500.
Less than 500.
Less than 500. So we know the spec. You know, when we're sending out this request for proposals, we're going to tell them we're going to get you this water at probably 2,000 TDS. We want it to be about 500 when it comes out. And so what is it going to cost them to build this facility, build the filters with the membranes in them and the equipment that it takes to run it? And when it comes out, it needs to be the quality that we expect. And how much will you charge us for that? And so that's what this is for. And I think, you know, we're ready to move forward and to be able to compare this with what we can do on the Water Development Board side. Now that we have this letter, yeah, they're moving quickly. You know, like I said before, the letter we were expected to be in February and March. They, you know, they sent it to us quick. And the loan forgiveness is a very big part, 30%.
Yeah, definitely.
So we just want you guys to approve us moving forward with that on this RFP.
Very good. Council, any questions? Mr. Molina?
No questions.
Mr. Crisp?
None, thank you.
Mr. Burke?
None.
Ms. Bowen?
No, thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Mayor, I make a motion, authorize the city manager and city staff to issue a request for proposal for alternate water source options for the city of Alice.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion stands as stated. Thank you, council. Thank you, staff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 8, discuss, consider, and act upon approving application for tax refund to change value and process refund on property described as home care medical equipment, care of Ronald Benavides, business INV invoice FFME, location 717 Flournoy Road, Alice, Texas.
Yeah, Mayor, so this is from the appraisal district. So this person had some property that they had an assessed value that they did pay taxes on. However, when they did an audit, apparently that property was not there anymore. Looks like there were some vehicles that were not there. So we got this from the appraisal district, and they were telling us that it needed you guys' approval to refund that back, but our city attorney wants to speak to it also.
Okay. Ms. Bowen, any questions? Oh, I'm sorry.
Look, that, since the appraisal district threw some stones at us in regards to our resolution, in regards to the form that has been presented to you all, you'll note on that form that about halfway down, it says that the property is no longer in existence, and it's quoting section 25.25C, and that is our Texas tax code. And specifically, that code applies, it's action that's taken solely by the appraisal district, not by one of the taxing entities, and that's the statute.
Right.
The appraisal review board, on motion of the chief appraiser or the property owner, may direct by written order. So the chief appraiser may direct by written order changes, and the appraisal board may, by written order changes in the appraisal roll for any of the 5 preceding years to correct. And it would be C3, the inclusion of property that does not exist in the form or at the location described in the appraisal roll. And so technically, under the statute cited, it's action that could be taken by the appraisal review board. They enter a written order and they remove it from the rolls. The problem that we run into is there's no further explanation to say whether or not funds had actually been paid, and so the refund has to be made. If funds had been paid, then you'd fall under section 31.11 of the tax code, which deals with refunds, and since the amount is over $5,000, you would have to approve it. And so, you know, basically, the way that it's written up, it appears that your approval isn't necessary, but just to be on the safe side, I would recommend that you go ahead and approve the request.
Okay. Ms. Bowen, any questions?
No, thank you.
Mr. Burke?
I'm going to ask a question. You can tell me if it's out of order, but you opened it up when you said the tax rolls. I meant to ask this during the city manager's report. Have we been informed yet when the appraisal district has adopted a plan or report on their plan for appraisals of city property? And when would we or could we expect to know what they're actually going to do?
I think that's out of order.
You're right, you are.
You're right.
I had to throw it out.
And
Take a chance
Mr.
on it.
Lemon, correct me if I'm wrong, but I can tell he's out of order.
He's out of order.
Sorry, Mr. Burke. Good try. So no other questions that
No,
are
that's
in
fine.
order, sir?
Yeah,
No?
that's
Okay. Mr. Chris?
And we have, here it says the amount of taxes paid, that we know that those are actual dollars on the cash check. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to give a refund on something that they say that you know what I mean? Like,
I would assume that they've been paid. It's just the citation, the statutory citation is with removing an item it doesn't refer to, the citation, the 25.25 doesn't relate to refunds. It relates to corrections in the tax rolls.
Okay.
And the refund statute is 31.11, and you all would have to approve it. And so just to be on the safe side, regardless of the citation, I'd say go ahead. I would recommend you approve the refund just to help out Mr. Benavides, because whether it was written up correctly or not, obviously the property is in existence.
okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
No
Mr. Molina,
questions.
any question? No.
No, thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion at this time. Council?
Mayor, I make a motion approving the application for tax refund to change value and process refund for property described as home care medical equipment care of Ronald Benavides. I don't have any clue what the INV stands for, but
Inventory.
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 Business Inventory, FFME, location 717 Flournoy Road, Alice, Texas.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion stands as stated. Thank you. Agenda item number 9, conduct a public hearing, discuss, consider, and act upon an ordinance number 2123 to rezone NG Collins Plat Lot 6, Block West, known as 305 South Stadium Road, from an R6 mobile home subdivision to an R7 mobile home park district.
So, Mayor, do you want to open the public hearing first? Or you want me to go through this one?
We can do a public hearing first.
Okay.
Okay. At this time, the time is 5:40. Anyone wishing to speak on agenda item number 9, please step forward. Agenda item number 9, please step forward. It's weird to me to close it in the same minute.
You gotta,
Is that not weird? 'Cause-
There we go.
there we go.
okay, no one came forward to speak on agenda item number 9. The time is now 5:41, and I close this agenda item to the public hearing.
Mayor, this is This is a rezone on NG Collins, Lot 6 block. It's the 305 South Stadium. So it's a R6 mobile home subdivision. They're trying to go to an R7. They want to put another mobile home on their property, and they needed to get it rezoned. It went through the planning and zoning, and it was approved 4 in favor and nobody opposed. And from a staff standpoint, we're recommending approval for this agenda item.
Okay. Mr. Molina, any questions?
No questions.
Mr. Crisp?
No questions.
Mr. Burke?
No.
Ms. Bowen?
No, thank you.
I have a question. The R7 opens it up to how many mobile homes?
I don't have that answer.
I don't know.
20?
Not ready to get Patrick.
No, Patrick had to leave. He was going to present this, but he did have to step out.
Okay. All right. Council, I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the ordinance number 2123 to rezone NG Collins, part of Lot 6, Block W, known as 305 South Stadium Road, from R6 Mobile Home Subdivision to R7 Mobile Home Park District.
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion stands as stated. Agenda item number 10, conduct a public hearing, discuss, consider, and act upon an ordinance number 2124 to rezone Presnall and Adams Addition, Block 423, Lots 1 and 2, known as 720 East 2nd Street, from an R2 two-family district to a B2 business district, Jim Wells County, Texas, according to map or plat thereof on file at the Office of the County Clerk of Jim Wells County, Texas. The time is now 5:43. I open agenda item number 10 to a public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak on agenda item number 10, please come forward. The time is now 5:44, and I will close this public hearing on agenda item number 10. And I'll entertain a motion at this time. Or is there discussion?
Yeah, this is a rezoning going from an R2 two-family to a B2 business. The intention is to have an office, a law office on this property, and it's right close to it's a mixed-use area right there also, and so it fits in with the intended use of the area.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
Yes, I'll
did.
move for approval of ordinance number 2124 to rezone President Adams Addition, Block 423, Lots 1 and 2, known as 720 East 2nd Street, from an R2 two-family district to a B2 business district, Jim Wells County, Texas, according to a map or plat therefore on file at the Office of County Clerk, Jim Wells County, Texas.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion stands as stated. Thank you. Agenda item number 11, consider and act upon awarding contract for chemicals for water and wastewater treatment plants.
There, Demetria is going to present this to us. This is a regular chemical purchases that we do yearly, and some of them are every 2 years.
Yes, Mayor, Council, City Staff, good afternoon. On December the 10th, Public Works Utilities, Water and Wastewater Departments had their annual chemical bid openings for calendar year 2020. There was 8 items that were up for bid. 7 are used at the water plant, 1 over at wastewater. In your package, you should have a tabulation sheet. Every vendor that is interested in supplying a bid is given the option for a 1-year or 2-year bid.
I believe we were giving an updated one as well.
I think it was just the bigger one.
Oh, bigger, so that we can see.
read it.
Thank you, Odie. Appreciate that.
Oh, it's on both sides. It was like this.
Yay.
Wow.
I'll entertain any questions before I offer my recommendation.
Okay.
I can tell you that every chemical went up from last year, anywhere from 10 cents to close to 70 cents per gallon. The chlorine and the sulfur dioxide, which is a gas product, chlorine went up $15 a ton. The sulfur dioxide as well, $15 a ton. We did see a savings on caustic, savings of 42 cents per gallon. And talking to vendors, they contribute that to the cost of the raw material and as transportation as well.
Council, any questions, Ms. Bowen?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Burke?
Have we used most of these vendors at some
Yes.
point?
Yes, sir, we have.
Good, Mr. Burke? Okay.
Yeah, I noticed that you said the chlorine had went up by $15, and that sounds like a huge number. And I'm basically stating this for the general public to realize this, that it was already in the $700 range
Right.
per ton. So it was actually about 2.1% increase. So it wasn't like it was an astronomical jump. It was actually only a 2% increase. And I only state that because the general public hears $15 and they don't realize that it's actually only 2%.
Right,
So
but the-
I just wanted to reiterate that so that people realize that these numbers are relative, and it wasn't like it was $10 and now it's $25.
Yeah, it went from 719 to 734 per
Yes.
ton.
Right.
Okay. But again, I just wanted to state that
Right.
for the general public that's watching and listening, so they can get a better grasp that it was a large number. $15 is nothing to shake your head at, but it's only 2% of what we're being charged before.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Crisp. Mr. Molina?
No questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Recommendation?
Yes, sir,
Yes,
please.
please.
I recommend for approval for the one-year contract, the liquid caustic soda to DPC Industries at 1.697 per gallon, the chlorine gas, DPC Industries at $734 per ton, sulfur dioxide gas, DPC Industries for $864 a ton. Two-year contract, liquid alum to Chemtrade at 0.7425 per gallon. Liquid alum with 1% copper sulfate to Chemtrade at 0.9185 per gallon. The liquid alum sulfate with 2% copper sulfate to Chemtrade at 0.9790 per gallon. The LAS to Chemtrade at 1.04 per gallon. And the fluoride acid to Penco at 2.34 per gallon.
Okay. Council, I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Mayor, I make a motion to move forward with contracts as presented, as recommended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion stands as stated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you.
Dorcas. Agenda item number 12, here presentation on October 2019 month-ending financial statements and summary of funds report and delivery of check registers through October 2019.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Try to be brief. I know you had a long night. Let me see if we can get this turned on. Financials for the month ending November 30th, 2019. We've had 2 months into the fiscal period by now, so we should be about 16.7%. And general fund revenues were 686,567, which puts us about 5.4%. But of course, that does not include any sales tax. There's no sales tax in these financials. I mean, this fiscal period. We received the one for October, but I'll talk about that briefly. Start with property tax. Year-to-date budget was 485,264, and we received 127,377. That's for the current and the delinquent. On Exhibit B, we have property tax through November, which includes your M&O and your INS, is 385,377 for the month of November. Last year at this time, we're at 511,257, so that's about almost $126,000 decrease in our collections this year. Sales tax, like, as I mentioned, we don't have any recorded any recorded sales tax in this fiscal period, but we did receive the one for October, which is on Exhibit C. And that was $462,947, and we budgeted $508,333. I've reached out to the comptroller's office to see if this is a trend or just the dynamics of the market right now, so we'll have more information on that, but we're going to continue to monitor. Property tax was down, sales tax is down a little bit, so we'll continue to monitor it. And if we have to do any revisions or adjustments to the budget, we'll try to do them on a monthly basis. Exhibit D shows sales tax actual 2020 versus actual 2019. Last year we had 574,225, and this year we have 462,947. So that's over $111,000 decrease in sales tax.
Can you say that number again, sir?
Yes. Last year we had 574,225 through October, and this year is 462,947. So it's $111,278 decrease.
From our budgeted amount, it's about $47,000 off from our budget.
From our budget is 45 from actual.
Okay.
Now, I did reach out to the comptroller's office, and Ms. Cots mentioned that part of that is we had some adjustments last year that probably we shouldn't be including in our budget, which we're going to be looking at that closely. So then, in other words, if we had overages last year, then we shouldn't be accounting for that in our budget this year.
Oh.
So we'll have to be looking at that a little bit closer. And last year we did have one.
Okay.
Our occupational and mixed beverage, well, this is from October 1st through December 31st, so we won't be collecting it till January. Franchise license and permits, we're about 13.5%. Intergovernmental, we've collected about 11.2%. Charges for services is about almost 17%. So that's in line. Fines and forfeitures is almost 14%. Miscellaneous revenue is 18.5%, and our interfund transfers is about 16%.
On miscellaneous revenues, I noticed we're over, but some of that stuff is upfront one-time payments, right? Like that would put it, like sometimes when we have expenses, we have that upfront one-time payment that makes us look bad at the very beginning. But in any of those miscellaneous things, that's the kind of stuff that would be the opposite, that would say, oh, it looks like and I know it's a small amount, a dollar amount, but it's just one of those things when you look across the board and the green line sitting below the blue line on everything, you know, you start worrying about even that one little green line that's above the blue line. You know what I mean? So
On the miscellaneous, that's the, what we rent out to the BT church. So, and the interest, so we're collecting about $6,000 per month on that one.
The water that we've sold to the pipeline company on testing, does that show up in miscellaneous revenue as well? And I don't know if we received that check yet, but that'll show up.
Right.
yeah.
Who was it, Epic or who was it?
Epic.
I don't know where it was recorded, do you know where it was?
We received one.
Payment.
Yeah, we should have one this.
So we don't know what miscellaneous revenue is?
Oh, yeah.
I have a list, it's like vendor refunds, mostly it comes from your interest income, and then it's like the armory. These are just small little donations, private contributions, but the bulk of it will be from your interest and from the.
Okay.
But that's one where Mr. Crisp is a little bit over than what
Right,
our budget.
Yeah, that's
Which is cool, but it's
which is
like,
good, but when you look at the
who's
big
giving us
ones,
money?
when you look at the big ones over there and they're all the other way,
Right.
I mean, okay.
The one positive.
Yeah, well, we have two because charges for services is over by about, what, $80?
Yes.
Focus on the positive.
Yeah,
Focus
so,
on that.
Yeah. Roland,
Yes, sir.
on inter-fund transfers, I think I know the answer, but I just want to emphasize a point or clarify it. Inter-fund transfers year-to-date, $327,500. And where were most of those interfund transfers directed at, towards?
Those are coming in.
Yeah, they're coming in, and there's several departments. You have solid waste. You have, I can read out the numbers actually. Solid waste, we transfer 550,000. Utility fund is 1,250,000. Airport 15,000. Golf course 60,000. Municipal court. I'm sorry. The MUC is 90,000. And the other one, the 100,000, 136.
But let's keep in mind too, when we say those type of things, that money's coming in from like the multi-use complex, we also have the idea
It's an
that
interfund transfer.
we've
Yeah.
sent money to them in order for them to send it back to us. You know, it's the same way for a lot of the funds that actually don't make money outside of the utility fund and the landfill. So a lot of those, we send money to them, and so they show money coming back to us, but it's the same dollars that we sent to them, only less in a lot of cases. So let's make sure that we're clear on that too. Okay. Thank you.
Sir.
Ms. Burke.
Thank you, gentlemen.
General fund expenses, which is on Exhibit D. That one, overall, we're at 14.3%. So we're under actually on that one. We're at 1,828,664. Some of them are a little over. General services over. We had a TML payment, so 150, almost 158,000. So, and the same thing with finance administration. That's a little bit over as our Sella software payment. That was almost 32,000. The fire department's under budget on the expenses, and so is the police department. Street maintenance is under budget. Some of your others, parks and playgrounds, and your library's a little bit over. Those are the AC repairs.
Okay. Wondered about that, yeah.
Exhibit F, we have revenues versus expenses for the month ending in November. For general fund, we're at $1,137,098. Again, there's no sales tax recorded on that one. Solid waste, we're in the positive, 142,984. Utility fund is also in the positive. They're actually doing pretty good at 289,467. Airport is in the negative 1,188, and that includes your interfund transfers. Your golf course is also in the negative 2,661, that also includes your interfund transfers. Motel occupancy tax fund is 5,690 in the black, and the multi-use complex is 5,526 in the negative, including the transfers.
On the general fund, why is it so off? By $1 million, is that correct? $1 million, almost $1 million too.
There's no sales tax recorded.
Is that big that we
Well,
accounted for? Especially because we're just 2 months into, because this is a new budget we're starting with.
So we budgeted 508,000.
Right, that's
So
half
two of
that.
those, it's 1,016,000. So we would still probably be a little bit under
Gotcha.
if our sales tax came in where we budgeted.
Right, okay.
So, but we're gonna be looking at
It's
all
always
those.
2 months in the rear.
Yes, 2 months.
Okay.
And then if you notice on the last slide, if you look at but then it's kind of fuzzy on that slide. But our 2019 versus 2020, last year it was about the same. 2019 was 1,035,314, and 2020 it's 1,138,000 almost.
But we don't have a definite at this time number.
No.
Right,
The only one we know is the one they sent us with the
that 1 month.
467 or
Yes,
whatever.
for October.
So we're already down
Yes.
by 100.
So depending on when November comes in.
No, we only budgeted 108, so we're down
508.
440 something.
46, 47.
Okay, let's hope for a good.
Solid waste, 136,000 last year, this year almost 43,000. So that's in the positive. Last year, utility fund was at 76,000, and this year it's almost $90,000. Airport fund was $15,383 last year, and this year it's $1,188, so it went down a little bit. Golf course was in the positive $3,696 last year, and this year it's in the negative $2,661. The hotel occupancy tax fund was $23,166 in the negative, and this year it's $5,680 in the black. And the multi-use complex was $16,106 in the negative last year, and this year it's $5,526.
Can I ask, the utility fund being $213,000 over last year's numbers, does that have to do with the multiple line breaks that we've experienced, including the main, or what exactly kicks us up by $213,000 there?
I think it's a comprehensive amount based on water purchases, some of it.
Meters?
Some of it would be the rate increase that we did, a slight rate increase.
Well, this is expenses. This number is expenses. So what you're showing me there is that last year's expenses were $73,000, and this year's expenses were.
Revenues over expenses.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're still, their revenues over expenses.
Right.
So it's a net effect.
Okay.
So regardless of whether, if you had more water purchases, last year than we did this year.
I got you. Okay.
Revenues over expenses.
So I think
I just saw a huge difference
Yeah,
there.
me too.
It's like, their water breaks, that's okay.
I don't know if there's anything else that stands out on that, anything else.
I just saw a huge difference, and it kind of blew my mind, especially since the first one started off with a negative.
Utilities has been doing pretty good recently.
Yeah, that's
Not gonna
okay.
jinx them, but
Much
Yeah, it
better.
usually does, that's
Yeah.
why it's like, but, okay. That's a reminder, council and citizens to shop Alice. We're waiting on those sales tax to get that general fund where it needs to be.
Yes.
Council, any questions? Mr. Molina?
No.
Mr. Chris?
Thank you, Roland.
Mr. Burke? Ms. Bowen? No, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rowland. Appreciate your hard work. And Ms. Vanessa, thank you so much. Agenda item number 13. Adjourn and or consider and act upon adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The time is now 6:03. Thank you, everybody here and watching at home. Have a good evening, good night.
Merry Christmas.
Feliz Navidad.